Alrighty guys, the video has came. I'm going to do a things I don't like about my 2023 klx300. And these aren't just stupid things like the tires wearing out fast or the brake pads wearing out fast, because those are all things that in my eyes are going to happen with any stock bike and you're always going to have to replace, and they're just wearable, items. The one thing I have always said is like the suspension, I always feel like you're going to have to adjust. But for this bike in particular, I'm actually going to complain and say I don't like it from the factory. I think it comes 11 clicks out, and I am 2 clicks out right now, and I just feel weird bottoming it out. So I'm leaving it 2 clicks out, and I'm still bottoming it out like screwing the needle all the way in. But anyway, I am still bottoming out all the time. I am like a 200-pound dude, and with my helmet and everything else, I might be like 205 or something. But I do think from factory, they could have done it a little bit stiffer. I mean, it is a dirt bike. It's meant to be jumped. It's meant to be ridden on trails. I don't think I should be having these bottoming out issues as much as I am, especially since I've already adjusted it, it's almost maxed out, and I'm still having the issues is where I just think it's a little too soft from factory. I'm bottoming out on not like these huge, crazy, massive jumps either. It's, maybe a couple feet off the ground, bottoming out. And I've even bottomed out going up jumps. So something to think about. I still love the bike. I always recommend this bike. Another complaint of mine is just how much fun this bike is. It's too much fun. I don't ever want to get off of it. So obviously, I'm going to get some stiffer springs, but like this was a little extreme. What's your average weight rider? Like 170, 180? This would be too soft for them, I feel. So I think from factory, they definitely could have stiffened up the fork, and it just would have been a lot more enjoyable of a supermoto, which are meant to fool around on. Go upstairs, go downstairs, hit jumps, hit some trails, hit some whoops. They should be stiffer. Oh yeah. Sorry, I have to open some refreshments. I'm real thirsty. But moving on to point number 2 is the handlebars, or 7/8. Which I just feel like for being a dirt bike that you're going to wreck, and I would say a full-size dirt bike, they should be regular dirt bike handlebars, not the little pit bike ones. Not a big fan of that, which leads me to my next point, is the clamp for the bars. You cannot run adapters for regular dirt bike bars. I think that's pretty dumb. Like, if you look here, like the Grom, I don't know if you can see, but you can run adapters because it's 2-piece instead of one all-metal piece, but you can run adapters for regular, stronger dirt bike bars. I just think it's stupid that they did this one piece, because if you were to break that, you would have to replace this whole clamp. I don't know why, you would do that. I just think it's kind of stupid. See? It's just all one piece. Moving on to my next point, which is kind of the same concept, but the foot peg mount, as you can see, this one is removable, which makes sense to me because if you were to bend that or break it, you could just replace it. Now let's go to the other side of the frame. This one is just welded onto the frame. You cannot replace the bracket for this foot peg. So if you bend that or break it, you're gonna have to cut that off and weld a new one on, which I just think is honestly ridiculous, because if you wreck like I did and broke the stock foot pegs, you're very likely to probably bend or break that. So I don't know why Kawasaki would do that. Like your dirt bike ones, 2-piece, always, which makes sense. Grom, you can just replace the rear set. I just don't know why they would do that. It baffles me. I think it's pretty freaking stupid. My next point, I have had a lot of false neutrals on this bike. Like when I'm hauling bootang, going into a stoppie, and I'm up in the gear range, and then I come to a stop, shifting down, it just does not want to, it just stays in gear. It doesn't want to shift down, so I have to kind of feather the clutch, which, I have had happen with other bikes like the Grom. I kind of have this issue on. I don't on the 450, so I guess I don't know if that's really a complaint, but it's just another thing to think about. And I've also had a lot of actual false neutrals, like I'll go to shift, and especially if you don't really lift up and shift hard, which I should be doing anyway, it'll like go into neutral, and then I give it gas and it like clunks in a gear, and I'm like, geez, that's, you know, it just seems kind of rough. But honestly, there's not much. I had to really think of these things to point out, to complain about this bike. There's really not much to complain about, but I do think the bar thing especially is worth mentioning, because I already bent these ones, and I bet if I had regular dirt bike bars, they would not have bent. The foot peg thing, I would also say, is definitely worth mentioning, because if you were to bend that over there, you're going to have to find somebody. Thankfully, I got Kyle Blast to cut that off and weld a new one on. And the last complaint that I have found so far about this bike is these passenger foot pegs, which if you've seen my other videos, you know it caused me to wreck my nice brand new klx300. They just snapped right off with my weight. Literally just broke right off. So if you plan on having any passengers, make sure they do not stand up and adjust their shirt or something, because that's going to snap right off, and then you got the chain right there and the tire right here, and they're sitting back here, could throw you off. So beware. These are not strong at all. But guys, honestly, all in all, this bike is an amazing bike. I had to really find things to put on this video that I think are actually things to think about too. I watch other things people don't like, and they're like, oh, the stock bars suck. It's like, well, yeah, they do. They always are gonna. Or the stock tires wear out too fast. It's like, okay, we'll get some new ones. I think I hate when I'm looking at a review and those are the complaints, or they're like, oh, the stock exhaust. It's like, dude, yeah, the stock exhaust on my Grom also sucked. What stock? It's built to pass emissions in all 50 states and go through all of these regulations. Obviously, it's gonna, you know, not be the best, and that's why we have aftermarket shit, so we could customize our bikes how we like them. End of the video, bonus footage. We hit a path. We're going to a lake. Oh shiz! Oh, there's a biker. They might get mad at me. Oh shit! Oh, there's people. I was gonna do a wheelie through this bridge, but there's people. Oh, they might get mad. Let's see. Picking up their doggy. Oh, hopefully there's no rangers coming out as I go in. We're looking good for now. I don't even see any down there. Woo! We're going to the top, baby. Let's go. Woo! And keep her pinned all the way up, son. I don't know, actually this turn looks pretty tight. We're gonna slow her on down, get a little lean in. I don't really like these stock tires, so I ain't gonna go too hard. And here we are. Woohoo! Got the freaking nice ass view. And what I'm gonna do is come down here, turn my bike around so I can dip if I need to, and that will be the end of this video.